Global military strategists aren't currently tracking active missile launches or sudden troop movements. Instead, they're tracking a silent, impending deadline. The global balance of power rests on microscopic logic chips. A geographical shift in where these chips are manufactured is slated to hit critical mass by the end of 2026. This timeline creates a narrowing window of deterrence. Inside the highest levels of the United States military command, there is acute alarm over what happens when that window shuts. Superpowers on both sides of the Pacific are now being forced to reconsider their strategic timelines before the supply chain permanently locks into a new configuration. By the close of 2026, these industrial milestones transform into a definitive countdown for regional conflict. To ensure you receive critical geopolitical briefings like this one, subscribe to the Global Warwatch network. Understanding the specific economic and military threats triggering this 2026 deadline is the first step in preparing for the fallout. As the global landscape rapidly destabilizes, maintaining your access to unfiltered intelligence is critical. The United States is executing a strategy to secure its own domestic supply of advanced semiconductors by the end of 2026, a policy known as silicon sovereignty. This is working at TSMC's Fab 21 in Arizona. This facility has already achieved a 92% production yield rate, outperforming its equivalent mother fabs in Taiwan. At the same time, Samsung's $37 billion facility in Taylor, Texas, is racing to meet its mass production deadline by late 2026. Securing this Texas capacity is required to fulfill major domestic AI hardware orders, like Tesla's upcoming AI-Fi chips. This capacity insulates American tech companies from Pacific supply chain risks. Achieving this sovereign supply by 2026 drastically reduces United States' reliance on foreign allies, granting Washington vast strategic independence. But this manufacturing expansion is crashing into a severe physical resource and memory shortage, a bottleneck industry analysts call Ramageddon. This chart shows the exponential price spikes of copper and helium against standard inflation over the past 12 months. Fabs require immense quantities of these materials for cooling and wiring. Simultaneously, as foundry lines reallocate capacity to AI infrastructure, global inventory for traditional DRAM and NAND memory chips plummets. There is also a secondary energy choke point. AI-optimized megafabs are straining global power grids, which are already struggling significantly after targeted drone strikes on Qatari liquid natural gas hubs severely disrupted global fuel supplies. Physical scarcity converts semiconductors into a rationed strategic asset, forcing nations to secure their supply chains at any price. Across the Pacific, a different timeline is accelerating. Military strategists refer to the Davidson window as the narrowing timeframe where the People's Liberation Army gains the confidence to launch major combat operations. The year 2027 marks the 100th anniversary of the PLA. Chinese leadership has set this as a strict deadline to achieve total military modernization. U.S. intelligence assesses 2027 as a material readiness target for an amphibious assault or blockade, rather than a fixed order to invade. When you place this military timeline next to the American domestic fab deadlines, you see two superpowers on a direct collision course. As the United States successfully secures its own domestic chip supply in 2026, it leaves a newly confident and modernized PLA facing an increasingly isolated target in the Pacific. For decades, regional stability has relied on the silicon shield. Because Taiwan holds a monopoly on advanced chip manufacturing, military action against the island is deterred by the global fallout it would cause. An invasion or blockade would trigger mutually assured economic destruction, crippling global technology supply chains and crashing financial markets. The success of the American onshoring strategy creates a paradox. High-volume production in Arizona and Texas actively dilutes the protective monopoly Taiwan relies on. By successfully bringing production onshore, the U.S. structurally weakens the massive economic disincentive that currently prevents a cross-strait war. The very policy designed to ensure American technological survival is stripping away Taiwan's primary defense mechanism. Because of this erosion, military planners warn that the years immediately following the 2026 manufacturing shift represent a window of maximum danger. Between 2027 and 2032, the global supply chain is set to fracture into competing blocks: eliminating the stabilizing force of shared economic reliance. In this landscape, advanced logic chips operate like 21st century enriched uranium, providing the physical substrate that dictates global dominance. If you found this briefing valuable, please like, share, and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts on the push for silicon sovereignty in the comments below. In the coming decade, the ability to manufacture the physical substrate of artificial intelligence is the ultimate non-negotiable requirement for national security.